Hey, Ghost Machine fans, this one's for you.
Welcome to the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast, episode 82. A wolf, a raven, and a mountain goat went in pursuit of a wild dog, and they found a spider's den. Will our heroes be able to find and repair the world engine to save Better World? We're here for the continued return of fan favorite series Rook Exodus with another release day deep dive. I am Snoggle, and as usual, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Nick. Nick, how are you doing this evening?
I've got my animal-themed helmet on. I'm ready to plug in to the wildlife grid, and we've got to track down Bloodhound to repair this world engine, or this planet is gonna fail.
The sloths are prepared for battle.
The sloths are prepared. That's true. They've been strategizing. They've had their maps, and they've got their discussions, and they've got their tea. Ever since we talked to Jason about that, there's probably so many little funny, animal analogies, like the penguin warden. The penguin warden would be like a Navy SEAL, like a nautical wonder, right? Like, because the penguin warden would be like a rocket through the water, but it would be very, not nearly as agile or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many hilarious wardens, but I have a feeling we're going to keep seeing the rock and roll type of wardens for a while.
Mm-hmm. Or like scary ones. But there are some creatures. Oh, just give me the EBGBs.
Oh, this is a very heebie-jeebie oriented episode. I think that's what they're going for.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The lights are out. Oh, like, of course they are.
There's an elevator shaft that we can take. Oh, but we can't. Yes. We're going to learn a whole lot about this awesome issue from our favorite publisher, Ghost Machine. But before we do that, we've got a couple other things we have to talk about. The first of which is a very exciting shout out. As you know, we love it when other Ghost Machine fans collaborate with us on posts on Instagram or other places related to the brand that we love. And recently, we received a collaboration request from 3 accounts, but all for the same post. And so the 3 accounts are sakacomics, that's SAKA comics, no underscores or spaces or dots, just sakacomics. And then also comicpanelmania, which is spelled exactly how it sounds, comicpanelmania. There's no spaces or dots in that one. And then also an account I've seen before that is hilarious, and you got to check it out if you aren't following this one on Instagram. That's comics_out.of_context. And the funny shtick with that one is that he says, I don't own any of these comic panels. They belong to their original creators or publishers. And the whole point is that he just takes a screenshot of a panel in the comic without giving it context. And then that can be really funny, like if you don't know the context. So that's another one of the 3 accounts that were on this post that was all about Halloween and Hyde Street, it looks like. And it looks like most of these accounts are south of the border. So it's awesome when we have collaborators that join us internationally. So way to go. And thanks very much, everybody.
Love it.
But enough about our new friends, because it's time for Snoggle to get behind this news desk and anchor this thing.
Today is Wednesday, November 5th. Remember, which just so happens to be the release date for Rook Exodus 8, which we are deep diving into today. It also marks the release of the Redcoat Volume 2 trade paperback. talk about a great way to introduce someone to the Northerner. Also, Geiger 19 is on final order cutoff on November 10th, which is less than a week away. So make sure you get those orders in. It's going to be a hard one to find with that Jim Lee cover. So make sure to get your pre-orders in before the 10th. Rook Exodus 9 is on final order cutoff that same day as well. As always, exciting times in the Ghost Machine world of news.
Absolutely. You got to pre-order that Jim Lee cover. I'm going to pre-order the one for $50. Make sure to check that out. That's a big deal. Big deal. Big things popping out there in the world of a Ghost Machine. Also, nice poll. Remember the 5th of November. That's what that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you know that
it is
V for Vendetta was originally a graphic novel? It's a very famous graphic novel.
I did, actually.
Yeah, it is indeed.
I don't know a lot of comic book lore, but that one I do know.
It's a good one, but it's not the one that we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Rook Exodus number 8. And before we do that, we've got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 fantastic covers to run down with you.
I really enjoy all of these covers. Cover A, we've got Jason Fabok and Brad Anderson. And it's Spider-Man manifestation. Or is that the right word?
No.
Infestation. You should keep that in. They're manifesting the spiders. It's creepy. They're kind of like larger than life, green goo. There's spider eggs everywhere. Like, ugh.
And they're big, scary, but not like you don't look at these and say giant tarantula or giant brown recluse or giant black widow. You go foreign creepy spider. Like you don't know really. Like it's just it's a monstrous kind of different spider, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This, like many of the covers from many of the Ghost Machine books, this A cover speaks the most to the plot of this one. But the B cover is also by Jason and Brad. And it's another one of those awesome profile warden helmet covers that we've talked about. And this one is of the wild dog warden, Direwolf's dad, whose name is Bloodhound.
That's a cool profile with the green.
And this is I believe, 6th one of these that we've received. Although I believe it's the first that doesn't have a ratio variant foil version of it. So this is a standard B cover. And then there's a C cover by Cale New, who is a super popular cover artist in the industry right now. And it's a connecting cover. If you remember, this started with the last issue. Next couple, they're all going to connect with different characters from the series. And this one had Direwolf on it. Really, really cool there. A lot of people really dig Cale's work.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I like it.
And as you know, I'm a sucker for ratio variant covers, and they brought another one to the table here. This is a D cover by Derek Chu. He did, looks like the pencils, the inks, and the colors. And it's a 1 for 20 ratio variant, and it's all Direwolf.
I think this one's this is probably my favorite. I think this looks so good.
Yeah, it looks like it's been painted.
Yeah, it's just, I just can't even describe it because I'm not an artiste, but I do really, really like it. Great cover.
Yeah, and the ratio variants on later issues often are more and more difficult to find because it really depends on how many of that particular issue the store orders and whether or not they'll grab that. So I always like to grab ratio variants of later issues. Not that this is that late into the series, but number 8 certainly a lot later than number 1. And those are the 4 covers that you'll be able to snag if you run out to your local comic book shop on today, November 5th, to pick that comic up, which makes this your spoiler pause for Rook Exodus number 8.
So ready to dig in, but we got to talk about these creators first.
We do.
We do.
Who do we have? Who put this fine work together, Snoggle? Tell us.
Our creators are Jeff John and Jason Fabok. Our color artiste is Brad Anderson. And then we've got Rob Lee, our king of letters. It is a dynamic group of 4 individuals who worked on this book.
I'm going to start a petition to change Rob Lee's title to letter artist. And we can go from there.
Just one book. Can they put king of letters instead of letterer? Just one. I mean, I think he deserves it.
If you're going to get it in there one time, you might as well get it in there every time.
I mean, there's a lot of letters in this book.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. So let's get right into it. And it's an easy way to get right into this one, because I feel as though this first page is designed, as many comic book pages are, for new arcs to catch you up. Now, this is the second issue in this arc, but there was a pretty big break between number 6 and number 7. And it seems appropriate with how number 7 just threw you right into the action with Stag and Bloodhound and a lot of momentum and things like that, that we take a moment and refresh from our hero narrating to us. And he's telling us what the wildlife grid is, better world. The world is terraformed. They're trying to save it. And then he reminds us that some people, like Bloodhound, Direwolf father, were overly affected by instinct influence, which they didn't factor in.
I like how on this first page, every panel is a very distinct color feel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the first panel is bright, like Better World. I feel like I could commercial this, like Better World. The crown jewel of the Better World system, or Exodus. Anywho, very pretty. And then it gets a little bit more like we're in a forest and it's like fading into the night. I forget what is that called right before dusk? Wow. I like the second panel is very dusk. And then the third panel, we're getting very like doom and gloom. We're about to bring the rings to Mordor. And then it does finish very bright, but obviously like I can feel the cold in this picture with Rook.
That's a great way to put it because of the contrast. And that's all color. That's all seasonality and color. And you brought up one other detail that I want to point out. I don't recall if it has been mentioned before that Better World has terraformed other planets. And it may have been, but yeah, like you said, they mentioned that Exodus was their crown jewel. For me, though, it points out that this book is called Rook, Exodus, which has always made me wonder about like Rook, Earth, or Rook, another planet we've never heard of yet, and it made me curious because remember how they've mentioned prehistoric animals, maybe that trope, or I don't even know if that's what you call it, but like that avenue can be explored using another planet in the process. But I don't know. I agree. I really like where we land there on that wintry background with the snow. You definitely feel the cold. And then we see this massive, it's like a half splash page, it's a great, super detailed splash page with all the animal fur from behind that you can see. But then it's this big chasm like a door thing, right? Like it looks like a some sort of door has opened up in the ground, and it's like a circular door. And how did they get here? Catch us up.
So I believe in the last book, someone fell down that hole.
Well, yeah, and they're out here looking for access hatches and like ways to get in to the area that the world engine is located. The main engine room is what Matterhorn, our new party member in our crew of adventurers here, in our science fiction crew of adventurers, Matterhorn, points out that they need to get to the main engine room, and we're going to repair that. And that problem is that they were pursuing Bloodhound after the last issue and how that went down. And he fell down this big old hole. And either way, that's where they got to go. But they're assuming that if he fell down there, he's dead anyway. But Rook, because Rook's are like total opposite of where he was at, issue 3. He's optimistic. He's like, let's do this. I'm going to lead you. I got birds that'll get down with whatever we need. And he's like, your father's still alive because the birds aren't circling.
I thought that was a really cool Rook. I can just imagine him being super stoic and he's not dead. How can you be so sure, Rook? Turn the page. The birds aren't circling. I don't know. There's something really cool about it.
Yeah, very dark metal, like very cool.
Yeah, I think we see something that's very interesting. Like the first 6 books, Direwolf's like, Rook, get it together. We've got to save this planet. And now it seems like the script is switching a bit where he's like, stop it. We can bring him back. Be a little positive. We have to.
And then we find out why Matterhorn seems a little bit more biased against Bloodhound. It's not just that he fell really far down and she thinks it's unlikely that he would have survived. Apparently, her crew got accosted by Bloodhound and the dogs, and like to the point where he was acting crazy. And this also allows Rook / Jeff, the narrator, to remind us how stubborn Matterhorn is because she's the goat, the mountain goat warden or whatever.
I like the color in this panel too of like Matterhorn. She's as stubborn as her goats, but the use of purple in the snow, it looks really cool.
It does. And I don't know why, Brad Anderson, but I don't know why it makes me feel like it's a memory because of that hue of purple. The only reason that I can think of is we go from a panel where Matterhorn says he got a taste for blood when she's about to tell us what happened with Bloodhound. And it's like the blue of the snow. And then we still have outdoor and snow, but we have purple and moonlight. And it just makes me immediately, even without reading the panels, it's like, oh, that's a memory. I get it. And I don't know why that works so well for me, but Brad must understand the best colors to pick for that.
And then, of course, Rook he's not really worried about how Matterhorn feels about the situation. He's more worried about Direwolf because it is her father, And this is a more encouraging side of him. You never saw his eyes, so how can you be so sure he didn't know you? It's very encouraging.
Yeah, and it's one of those like beyond logic support, like friend / obviously we know they have more than a friend history, but rapport driven support, because he's not just saying it's very likely that he is still alive because my birds are not circling. He's trying to encourage her, right? He's trying to get her like over the hump, like, hey, come on, no, we got to go. Like, let's go. Like you said, the tables are turned. And then when Matterhorn says frozen hells, ! I don't know about you, but it made me be like, I bet she's supposed to have an accent. And I wonder what it is.
Probably like a goat accent.
That's hard to say. Frozen hells. That's not what she says, though. They would space it out if they meant it.
Yeah.
But I
yeah.
do like how she has a like consistent cadre of mountain goat advisors nearby.
Mm-hmm. I do. I love it. And of course, Matterhorn discovers that, of course, there's a very convenient elevator platform, but it's not working because someone cut the power. And you know what I find interesting is even though Matterhorn is very stubborn, like this dude, why are we trying to help this guy? It's not going to work. She's still dedicated enough to like, okay, get your climbing gear. We got to climb down this hole. If I don't care about something and I don't think it's going to work, I'm not about to rappel down a hole into darkness. Right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it shows her character that she's basically going to complain and be a hard-headed goat, but still get the mission done. Like she's still like the greater purpose is try to fix the engine room, and they do all like collectively agree that Bloodhound is the only one who knows how to do that. So, I mean, what are you going to do other than that right now? Right? You can be like, all right, let's pack it up. Let's go. You know, you got to keep going one way or another. And I really like how Pumbaa tries to encourage Direwolf.
That's cute. A little snotty, but I get it.
Snotty?
Look at her hand next to a snout.
Oh, you mean literally snotty? It is.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. You could. I did not notice the degree of like actual warthog snot coming off of that protagonist's fingers until you really pointed it out there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's specific. And so, you know, I do think that it does show an emphasis on how all these creatures seem to be cohesively living together. Like these wolves are not trying to eat these goats or like everybody's part of it, you know? And so when they have this little moment where Direwolf takes her right hand, which is not the snot hand, and puts it on Pumbaa and pets him, and she agrees that nope, none of us are gonna give up now. It's a pretty neat, heartfelt, but also like they're doing this, all the animals can make it work kind of thing. And I thought that was interesting though, to the point of making it work. They even say so they get their gear together, like you said. And then it's interesting though, because he says, we send the animals who can't fly the long way, escorted by a few of my birds. It's not ideal, and Pumbaa is reluctant to leave my side again, but eventually they go. So that's a pretty organized thing, right? Like it's a bunch of goats, a bunch of wolves, a bunch of ravens, and a big old warthog.
But I mean, they send them. It was a half a day journey, but their journey looks pretty scary. So, as Rook so eloquently put it, they're going down the proverbial rabbit hole. And like the art here is fantastic. And of course, you know, we can actually feel the movement of them going further and further into the abyss. And then there's just a black or purple spider just starting to crawl down towards them. Oh, like it's been watching the whole time. Like they were hoping that they went down. Ugh. I hate it.
Well, there's 4 panels, right? Because, well, 5 if you include the left side of the page, which is where we see the 3 of them rappelling down from below. But then the 4 panels on the right are a top view down, and that lets us see them as they descend. And so we get them kind of near, kind of far, completely gone, empty panel with just like the things they were climbing on their gear, and then one panel with the spider. And that's just I get that you could be on film and it doesn't have to have this breaks, right? And it could just be like they go and then a spider goes. And that's still very effective and very cool. I like this medium in particular, and I feel like it's better this way because the artist gets to freeze that moment in time instead of there being a spider that walks down the rope and then it's done. Because the moment in time, I want to see what Jason wanted me to see specifically. That's just something that a comic book does for me more than a movie.
And then we turn the page and we get pitch black. And that's a little bit before they're about to reach the bottom. And then we start to see their light. They're getting closer to the bottom. And then we see because the birds have reached the bottom. And then they're on the bottom. It is all very, very cool. I do think it's just like a series of unfortunate events for them because it's like the power's out because it's been turned off. And there's thousands of solar batteries down there. And Better World, which is supposed to be building a better world, literally pulled the plug on these people after the engine failed. Like, stinks, you know?
It does stink, and it's so important storytelling details. It's like the party of three. They got to the room, everybody did a perception check, and Matterhorn succeeded because she realized that there are tens of thousands of solar batteries down here, but someone turned the power off. Important detail for us as the readers. That means that they want us to know that that was intentionally done. You know, like I get it. They pulled the plug after the engine failed, but also keep in mind, we did see what looked like a spider warden down here on the last page of issue 7, even though, spoilers, we don't see that spider warden this issue. So it does make me wonder about what that person's doing down there with the power too.
I agree. And, you know, as they're talking about trying to find Darwol's father, all of a sudden we hear like bird in distress. And it's just, again, this particular book is so creepy because what is that? And we get to see one of his birds stuck in a spider web. I do really like the pulling out of a knife and it being all super shiny. That panel's dope.
Yeah, for sure.
It cuts the bird free and it's like great storytelling. Where's it going? Rook says, it's scared. And then of course someone says, of what? And I almost, if they were more dramatic people, if it was me down there, because I don't have a mask on or whatever, just a normal human, I'd be like, of what? What is it scared of? Can it tell you, Rook? What's about to happen to us?
In the bird's defense, it was caught in a giant circular doorway-sized spider web.
Oh yeah, horrifying.
But yeah, it's more than just the web that it's scared of, let's be honest. We get a very healthy reminder with a beautiful outdoor in the blizzardy splash page with all the animals again by Jason. I guess it's like a half splash page because then we have the individual panels below of a wolf, a goat, and a warthog all making their respective animal noises.
I feel like they can understand each other.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like in their own animal language. Did you hear that?
They could. I felt it as though they could sense something was wrong because we see a panel from each of the animals that's connected, and then the Rook panel with the bird. The bird is overlooking Swine's helmet, and so it's like, did all of them feel that through there a little bit because like that thing's connected to the grid? You know what I mean? Or either way, I definitely the whole time I felt like they're indicating that these animals are incommunicado one way or another. But so like when they turn and they see this OWOWA 6 more O's.
I think that's ow. That's my interpretation of that sound. Leave it in. No need to do a sound effect. And it's a cold. Yeah.
Is that Bloodhound? Is that what that is?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. But so it's really cool pacing because we get that the one we were talking about where the animals talk, but then at the top of the next page, we see the wolf, the goat, and the warthog look at multiple wolves and goats and one warthog look at in the direction of that cold sound, and then the cut back to Direwolf, Matterhorn, and Rook coming through that tunnel where the spider webs were, and they even say, "Do you hear that?" So everybody's clearly on the same page, and she's just straight up says, "Dad?" question mark when she sees him come through the spider webs. And that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting swarm of spiders, not bloodhound coming out at them with a triple R, triple A, quadruple O howl from Rob. It's just.
It does look pretty rabid, too. Do you know what I mean? Like the letters kind of portray a craziness, unhinged.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like instinctual rage or something like that.
I mean, he's got a couple of bones attached to him. He's got like multiple calculator-looking dealios. Some eggs on his back. Like, what's happening with this guy? And look at his hands. I mean, his hands are even deranged.
Well, yeah, the eggs in his back. Yeah, that's the thing, though. I think, yeah, there's so much badness. When you said he's got calculators on his belt, I was like, yeah, he had to bring his TI-83 with him for the APTs down here in his previous life before Better World fell. Or
I mean, someone's like lost it when they won't even cut their nails.
Well, he's the wild dog warden. I'll cut him some slack in that regard.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, it's not good news because he's attacking them, which means he's having his dogs attack our wonderful creatures that are topside.
So cool, though, because it builds tension.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen Jeff do this and other things. I really like it because we see the fight start between Bloodhound and the other wardens, and then we see a fight between the wild dogs and the other animals. And you can tell the first thing that Direwolf wants to do, and we see that Hound of the Baskervilles green goo that Jason was talking about still on his muzzle. I thought that was cool. But she's like, we need to get his helmet off. So her whole thing is trying to do that. But did you see on the page where the wild dogs are attacking, like how much smaller they are compared to the other animals?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting. Like there's like 4 of them on Pumbaa. That's how big Pumbaa is. I guess it's more that they're big.
And maybe, I mean, he's kind of got a sickness. Maybe his animals do too, to a degree,
Yeah, well, they have that green Head of the Baskervilles stuff.
Yeah.
As well.
Direwolf and Matterhorn get in a little tiff. Don't break my father in 2. Well, tell me that after he rips out your throat.
And they get into that tiff because Matterhorn does something that is very mountain goaty.
Yeah, it's like, dude, he's fine. Do you not see he's got his calculators? He's got his weird green eggs. He's good. He's even got like weird, crazy long claws. Like one boof in the stomach isn't going to kill this dude. Like, calm down, Direwolf. But it does show, I do like how it shows that even as much as she's being negative about the situation, she still cares about him enough that, I mean, it probably jumped her into the moment of like, don't hurt my dad. He might be crazy, but he's my dad.
I just thought it was appropriate that she headbutted him like a goat. But she gets him so good that he runs away. And they're pursuing that, and they're going to keep going after him. And Matterhorn's in the front. And I feel like this reminded me to such an extent that I would call it perhaps a nod, not an homage, but a nod to Aliens, because Matterhorn gets to the entrance to the room they then enter, and she says, something's moving in here. And Rook says, everything is moving. And if you recall, there's something like that in Aliens. When they first encounter not Alien, but in Aliens, when they first encounter like a bunch of them, I believe. Somebody says something like that. Somebody has a line like that. It also reminds me of Indiana Jones when Sala says the floor is moving, and Indy's like, it's snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Yeah, everything's moving.
Yep.
Like the birds are panicking, confused. He doesn't understand it, and then like we see this huge panel. Not until I see it for myself, and like, oh. The use of color to make this as creepy as humanly possible. I'm about it, but I am creeped out. Like, even those eggs are, oh, I hate it.
This, we're talking about Ghost Machine fans, the full splash page. That is when the three heroes and Bloodhound think he's going to become a hero. They're going to fix that guy. They enter the room that's full of spiders and spider eggs. And the spider eggs are all on the floor. The spider eggs are very face hugger eggy in a lot of ways. And I think all that's all good. Like, I love an homage to something else or a nod to something else. But there's tons of differences here because the spiders themselves are pretty interesting. Like you were saying earlier, they don't look like any whatever spider, but also half of them have these on their abdomen, these glowing green
smiley faces,
stripes. And it makes me wonder what the significance of that is necessarily, if anything. But yeah, you just see this massive infestation. And I think it's neat as a reader, though, this whole time, that on the last page of the last issue, we saw the Spider Warden. And we've also, if you've been a loyal Rook Exodus reader in the issue, I don't know, 3 or 4, when they had all the little one panels of all the different coming wardens, there was a Spider Warden too. So it's like, we kind of know that's where it's going. But I also, Jason talked about how this was going to be the creepier arc. Like he said almost even like horror. And it turns pretty quickly into them having to fend off a massive horde of spiders. And even when Rook holds up his very, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a hand machine rifle, looks just like the gun out of Aliens, literally very close to it. He says, I hate spiders. And that reminded me of Indiana Jones saying, I hate snakes.
Well, I will say Rob's letters, when you can tell the spiders are all like crawling towards them or like squeaking down from the ceiling, you can feel those, the creepiness of the, like, oh, it's so good. It is so good.
If you take a look at, so that's a great page for us to look at for just a second. The page right after that big splash page, the top panel, page wide, but not that, just the top panel. It's got those sounds of more and more spiders coming. Then there's this panel where we see Rook shoot one of them and cut it in half. And then Direwolf and Matterhorn are talking about how she's going to try to still get Bloodhound. And then Rook says, I hate spiders. And it's this massive BRRRAATT. And then this other one that's an SPLATCH that's green and slimy as the Brat shoots one of those spiders. And it's just that compared to the use of this medium, the lettering medium and all that type of thing in, say, Redcoat is profoundly different. And it's not delivered the same way. And we've even heard from the creators of, that Rob has said like the use of lettering is different in Redcoat compared to a book like this. But that's such a cool comic booky thing. But it also, to me, represents like the scope of a brand and how like you can really get a lot of different flavors if you read Ghost Machine.
And and in the midst of this creepy, gross battle, we get Direwolf is trying to get to her dad and grabs his hand, which does make him pause. Come on, Dad. And then I'm just like on the edge of my seat, needing to know what's going to happen because it's not going well for Animals Topside. Sure doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't. Because we haven't seen, so much has been going on with the spiders that you kind of like pause and you're like, oh yeah, I wonder about the animal fight. And then there's a direwolf on the ground and 4 dogs are getting Pumbaa knocked to his side. It's looking bleak.
And then all of the sudden, and I think this was so cool. It's like, yes! Because I care about these animals topside. Obviously, I care about the humans underneath. But I think there's something worse about what feels to be an innocent creature getting attacked, right? And all of a sudden, they get saved by these giant stags. And you see like this ninja star, slicing through the spiders, and Rook being like, who? And just, we turn the page to such a gnarly, amazing, big, stag with this red helmet. He obviously has a bow and swords, and it's so cool, right?
Absolutely. This scene is so cool in that it also is very cinematic. I just envision seeing these massive, I know they're stags or whatever, but those are like really big deer, right? And I guess is the simplest way to say it.
Kind of like elk.
Yeah, like super elk.
Like, have you seen an elk, by the way?
They're big.
They're huge. We saw, I believe, in the Grand Canyon, they have elk. And I had never seen an elk before, not even in a zoo. And it was bigger than my car. I was like, oh my Lord, because it was 3 of them crossing the road. So, like, even though some of the creatures on this planet are kind of supersized, right? Elk in general are huge.
I just feel like this scene is so cinematic that it made me wonder if they ever make this into an animated series, perhaps they would start with the second arc where like he's already a positive hero and everybody's like, wow, how'd they get here? But oh my gosh, that's epic, because this would be a really epic, like, join you right in the middle of the story way to do it. And then either do flashbacks to the first arc as a way of telling that story, or just do this one and then do something called like Rook Exodus Origins and have that be the first arc. But I thought this was so cool and I like this positive place. I like this, like a new ally comes out of nowhere. We saw him a little bit last time, right? Because he was fighting Bloodhound in the woods. So we know he's been tracking Bloodhound since then. And so this is the culmination of him following Bloodhound after that fight. I just love this character, man. The aesthetic is just so cool.
It's so cool. He's like a samurai.
Oh, yeah. The red arrows, because he uses a bow and arrow, and he's got these like ninja straight-edged swords.
And stars, ninja stars, don't forget.
Yes, shurikens. He's got those.
Okay.
Yep, he does. But he's going. He's just going through it. And even so, he just dispatches Bloodhound by knocking him out with a very swift kick and then holding a blade to him while he's on the ground. But we right away, he speaks in a foreign language that looks like Japanese. Rook asks, what did he say? So we know Rook doesn't speak Japanese or whatever that is. And then Matterhorn says, that he said, "This animal killed my wife." And so Stag is there because he wants to kill Bloodhound because Bloodhound killed his wife. New wrinkle. That's like, oh, that's why like that. That's I love that. I'm like, okay, okay. Let's keep going. Where's this next issue? Come on. But if I'm gonna go by what I see on the cover for number 9, who knows what's gonna happen to them next? Because it looks like Rook and Direwolf are caught like flies because you see Arachne, the spider warden, has got them in his web, I guess.
Yeah, I have no idea
web?
what's going to happen. I mean, we obviously need Bloodhound, but he did kill that guy's wife, and like Stag came in like a wrecking ball.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And there's a bio. If we have the usual kind of trading card deal here, except it's a location bio, and there's a little bit of it. It's about Planet Exodus, and we've had the wildlife grid before or stuff like that, but we've also had individual characters. But there's something interesting. It says,
how ominous the company will stop at nothing to reclaim the helmets and finish what it began. I guess that leaves me with a lot of questions in a good way.
Oh, for sure. What I thought was interesting was it mentions after everybody left the planet, it says accounts differ on what happened next. Some claim the evacuees returned to Earth. Others whisper that Better World seeded a second exodus elsewhere. Still others insist the truth was buried along with the corporation's failures. And so that's interesting to have that detail in there.
Good book.
Good.
Ready for the next one.
For sure. This is going strong. I'm pretty stoked about the way Rook Exodus is returning to us. Definitely not gonna want a whole lot more of this comic book.
I am really proud of Jason and Jeff for what they're doing here. I think this was an excellent book. I mean, the first 6 were good, right? And this arc is just like, so strong.
And so it also, there's a little preview that says for Redcoat's next issue, the most unexpected year in Simon Pure's long life begins in Redcoat 15. And there's even Simon with a bubble. He says, unexpected? You can sure say that again. And it's like, that's just funny. I dig it. Awesome issue of Rook Exodus. Make sure that you go out and pre-order your copy of the next one by the 10th, which is the FOC date. But we have a listener mail, which is actually someone who's written to us once before, wrote in again. Would you like to read it, Snoggle?
Yeah. But wait, what kind of mail am I reading?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a fantastic mail.
So this listener mail is from Matthias. And he begins with, "Hi, it's me again." And I again bring you 2 questions. The first one is, in Rockefellers number 10, we learn that their undercover name is Smith, despite their mailbox saying Rockefellers in issue number 2. Their letterbox clearly says Rockefellers, and in issue number 1, when Richie hangs out in the pool with his classmates, he explains how he's a Rockefeller, not a Rockefeller. Maybe they are terrible at hiding, as we have seen before. Giant flying Christmas tree and pool tsunami. But then why did the order ship in issue 2 of the package say Smith? Time travel? Question mark.
What do you think, Snuggle?
I think that they're kind of horrible at hiding.
Yeah. Well, because the detail there is with the package that we learned that Raina tracked them with, right? That they ordered. She had found them that way because of that, but that package said Smith on it. And so that would indicate that they consciously chose to use that alias at least when ordering that item from overseas. You would think that they would apply the same thing to their mailbox I'll be honest and tell you that back in issue 2 and earlier, I thought perhaps Rockefellers was their alias, and that we were going to find out at another time that that wasn't the real name. But obviously, that's not the case now. I'm not sure. I think that the time travel question makes it great because what you're saying is that somebody would have gone back and changed the name to try to like hide more or whatever. And if this is one of those like chicken or egg things from a writing standpoint, I would love for it to be one of those details that like gets resolved with like a little nod one day, because a lot of comic book readers won't catch that. And I
Yeah.
think the fact that you have means that you really care about the continuity of this property. And it does make sense, because it's like there probably is going to be some small reason where they do something in time travel where they stop being the Rockefellers in the 21st century and they're the Smiths. That's the best I got for you. But I think it's a great observation.
I agree. A second question is, which Ghost Machine characters would you like to spend your holidays with the most? I feel like there's two ways I could go with this. So I'm going to answer first, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's just always easy to say Simon Pure.
Yeah.
Because he just seems like a good time. He likes to eat, and that's what the holidays are surround. I mean, come on. And he likes to be jolly. He likes, his spirits. So I think Simon would be a delight. But also, if you're trying to have a more laid back holiday, and I particularly love to read, I would say hanging out with Tariq wouldn't be so bad either.
Well, yeah, he'd probably sit there and read with you as long as you left him alone.
Yeah.
Right?
And sometimes, I work retail, so sometimes that's all we need on the holidays.
Right. Sure.
Let's just read in silence. But I mean, I think Simon is the clear answer for me.
I feel like these types of questions, we're fortunate enough to continue to have them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of the times that's going to be the answer. But that's also because he's an immortal, right? And that means he's got a lot to talk about, and he's been around interesting things. We know that he would be an epic person to just sit and talk to. So it's always an easy, immediate one. So I'm going to my answer would be Simon for those reasons, but I'm going to change that so that I can give about another answer, right? And say,
long pause, because Simon's the good answer.
well, no, I was gonna say
Benny.
Rachel Benedict Arnold.
Yeah, he's immortal too. Why wouldn't he have stories?
Maybe the Northerner. I don't know if the Northerner is fun to hang out with yet, though. He doesn't. I don't know. I haven't seen him, but dude, he just seems
very
cool.
doom and gloom.
Yeah, he seems very cool, but I don't think he'd be fun to hang out with. I was gonna say Rachel because she is a really like next level human in a lot of ways. And so she would probably be also someone who would be really interesting to talk to. But I would also offer to watch her kids for her so she could go visit like another planet for a few days. But as I was thinking through the different characters in the series that I know of so far, yeah, I would think that would be my two, because I don't want to spend the holidays with anyone from Hyde Street at all.
No.
I don't want to do that.
No.
And I love Junkyard Joe, but I feel like it would be.
Joe would just be like beep bop boop bop.
Yeah, he would just not let the wrapping paper lie long enough for the experience to be fun. He would have to clean it up right away.
Now, I do think the Rockefellers' grandpa would be good too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Rodney, because he has really cool war stories, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in general, he just seems to have a good disposition of a human.
Ooh. Speaking of good dispositions of humans, how about young Albert Einstein?
He would probably annoy me. He's a child.
Jeez. Well, Matthias, thank you so much for writing in again. We really appreciate you doing that and continuing to listen to the show.
Yes, thank you.
And if you would like to send us a fantastic mail, you can do that by emailing ghostmachinefans@gmail.com. And otherwise, you can check out all of our other content by going to www.ghostmachinefans.com, where you'll see all the info about our socials, our wiki, and make sure to check out the Ghost Machine Comics Facebook fans page as well. We'd love for you to come chat with everybody on Discord. We just broke 100 members recently, which we're very excited about on the Discord server. You can find the invite link for that on the Reddit, which is hosted by Flashy Transition 737, friend of the show, and on our Instagram profile page if you want to come join the conversation over on Discord.
And thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Ghost Machine Fans podcast.
Podcast.
Mine was better.
Way better.